killer!
What's up, everybody out there in YouTube land? Wrath2501 here. Alright, this is something I saw. It's got Wheezy, TF2. I believe I did the one where he did, I think it was soldiers, or was it sniper? I did one of it. He was doing the best weapons for MvM. And this one is sniper. Ranking every sniper weapon in MvM, alright? So, this is interesting because typically I have found sniper not to be particularly useful in MvM, except against giants, specifically. Other than that, he pretty much is just kind of gets in the way because you have to get good headshots. Although you have to have like an expert sniper for him to be good at MvM, where he does that exploding thing where he hits multiples. But often, hordes will, unless you're in one of those maps where they come through a narrow area, the hordes spread out so much that you don't really get much explosion out of it. The explosive radius for the exploding head doesn't really do a whole hell of a lot that I've noticed. Anyway, so yeah, Wheezy TF2 ranking every sniper weapon in MvM. All right. So let's get started here and go.
Sniper's best and worst weapons in MvM.
That's what I'm
we're
asking
back
you!
again to answer that question with yet another MvM tier list. You know the rules, and so do I, but let's recap anyways. This is a two cities tier list. It's being made from the perspective of a solo queuing player, and each weapon is ranked within the respective weapon slots. So don't be surprised if you see any of the rifles getting outranked by a literal jar of piss. We're nearing the end, so let's get right into it. All bleed weapons suck ass in MvM, and the Tribalman Shiv is no exception. As sniper, you'll primarily be using your melee to deal with spies, so you'll want a weapon that can knock them out without issue. And unlike the other knives, the Shiv takes 4 swings to kill a spy instead of the usual 2. Hell, it can't even one-shot them with a crit. Sure, it does apply the bleed effect, but it's much more efficient to just kill them outright rather than wait the full duration of the bleed to get maximum damage. Remember, when you're dealing with spies, that's time you're not spending sniping the robots.
True.
So the Shiv being the worst knife at killing them means you'll be doing less damage overall. It's colored brown for a reason, guys.
Oh!
The classic can't headshot unless fully charged. Yeah, let me say that again. The classic can't headshot unless fully charged. In a game mode where explosive headshots are the main source of your viability, removing the ability to quickscope them makes this thing pretty much dead on arrival. Only having an opportunity to headshot every 3 seconds decimates the sniper's ability to perform well. And it puts so much pressure on you to not miss even one shot, because if you do, that's 3 seconds of 0 damage. Maybe with max focus charge upgrades it could be mitigated, but why would you dump 1,000 credits into negating a downside that no other sniper rifle has? What, for being able to charge while not scoped in? I don't think I need to elaborate on just how bad of a trade-off that really is.
The Huntsman.
Sorry, Soundsmith fans, but the Huntsman is garbage in MvM.
Soundsmith.
The bow replaces the godlike powers of the explosive headshot upgrade with its own signature bleed damage over time effect. Now you might think, well, if you're giving up the best upgrade in the game, clearly the bleed damage would be jacked the fuck up to compensate, right?
Probably not.
It's still only 8 DPS. 8 DPS for giving up explosive headshot. But that's not even the end of it. A lot of MvM upgrades don't work properly, and the Huntsman is one of its biggest casualties. Every single tick of the damage upgrade is bugged, each one giving increases of around 15% instead of the stated 25%. Also, even though you're able to upgrade the reload speed, the more accurate arc of the arrow still requires the full default charge. So it doesn't matter if that white bar is filled or not, you're gonna have to hold off if you want those stabler arrows. If you want to use it while fucking around with your friends, go ahead, but don't be fooled. It is not a good weapon. It's hard to really call the Shahansha bad, it's more just obsolete. You do 25% more or 25% less damage depending on if you're below or above half HP. This makes it take 3 swings to kill a spy when you're above 50% health, but you'll still need 2 swings even if you're below it. So generally speaking, it's a downgrade, but there will be moments where you're doing the most damage of any other knife without the aid of a secondary, so that keeps it out of D tier. The SMG can be a pretty good option for dealing with any robots you're not confident you can reliably headshot, as well as clearing out those pesky spies without much risk of death. But
And
realistically, those situations
with low
are few
health.
and far between if you're positioned correctly, so it ultimately doesn't see much use. It's not bad, I just think there are better options. The Danger Shield has a pretty good use case on waves with flare gun pyros, and that's about it. Not needing to worry about afterburn allows the sniper to spend more time shooting and less time running for health or dodging flares. It's not really useful against standard pyro bots because no sniper who knows what they're doing should be anywhere within that range, but
True.
nonetheless it still has a small niche on some waves.
Okay.
The Sydney Sleeper is a strange case, where despite it saying no headshots on the stat sheet, explosive headshots work perfectly fine with this rifle.
Okay.
That being said, you don't get the crit damage of the headshot, and that's really the big issue here. This rifle is on par with the others in terms of crowd control, but for dealing with giants, it loses out hard, effectively cutting your damage to less than half of what it otherwise would be. Sure, it coats giants and Geradi for a few seconds, but if they're not getting insta-killed by crits, your scout is marking or your soldier is buffing, so it usually acts as a redundancy. If you think it's worthy of B tier, I can understand that, but personally, I think there are better, more
So it's kind
versatile
of a borderline
options.
C, B tier.
The Razorback might not seem all that great. It's only effective on waves with spies, and even then you're given a verbal cue for when they show up. So on the surface, B tier seems somewhat questionable. But the fact you don't have to fear getting backstabbed means you can be reactive instead of proactive in terms of choosing when to kill the spy
Turns into
bots.
you.
So in
Dumbass.
the end, you have more uptime with your sniper rifle, which is an overall damage increase. So while it may seem ineffective, it's actually pretty useful.
Huh.
The Cleaner's Carbine has a fantastic utility on the Rottenburg missions thanks to its absurd ability to tank bust in tandem with the Bushwacker. Damage-wise, it may not be as potent as the stock SMG, but the benefit of on-demand mini-crits after doing only 100 damage definitely makes up for that. On waves without tanks, or on teams that can destroy them in a blink of an
That's why
eye,
it gives you
it may not be
mini-crits.
the best option, but outside of those situations, Sniper can make some good work out of it.
But taking out the tanks, that's the
The
soldier's
stock
job.
sniper rifle is the same as many other stock primaries. It's good at what it does and maintains the core
die
strengths
already.
of the class. It doesn't have any exceptional abilities that the sniper can exploit, but nothing really holding it back either. It's good, and that's all I can really say.
Huh.
The Machina trades a subtle upside for a subtle downside. The projectile penetration and extra body shot damage are both good, but they
Penetration.
require a fully charged shot in order to activate. This only really happens during the periods of downtime between packs, so they'll end up being a small percentage of the shots that you take. However, the only applicable downside is the inability to shoot well unscoped, which, in my experience, only really comes into play when robots are too close to headshot safely. So in
That's
the
true.
end, I feel like the Machina pans out to be mostly on par with the stock sniper rifle.
That's a good point. That's
We're
a very
bucking the
good
trends of stock melees being
observation.
terrible because the Kukri is actually pretty good. No damage nerfs are ever in effect, so it'll consistently kill spies with 2 swings, yet also maintains the ability to random crit. There's nothing broken you can do with it, but that's not surprising given it's a stock melee.
Geradi.
The Geradi is an
Geradi!
AoE mini-crit effect that can be used several times per wave. In theory, this is overpowered. Well, actually, although the Geradi seems like
Dude!
Sniper's best secondary, in the context of his kit, it does become a bit neutered. Yeah, you can throw it at a pack of robots, or you can kill them with explosive headshot. You can coat a giant with it, or you can get more shots in as your scout goes into market. So
That's a good
yeah,
point.
going for headshots will be a better move in most situations, and that makes the Geradi a tad invalidated. That said, in moments where you're unable to headshot safely, throwing it helps your team while you go to reposition yourself. It's also great against Fist of Steel Heavies, Spy Bots, and
True.
Super Scouts if you decide to grab the slow upgrade, so although it might be a little bit overrated, it's still pretty useful.
Yeah, it would be. It puts you in a
Faster
more
charge
support
time
row.
is good. That's really all there is to say. This weapon may begin life weaker than the others, but all it takes is 2 headshot kills and you're no longer in the red. At max potential, the Bizarre Bargain can be fully charged in almost half the time it takes for any other sniper rifle. That's not too difficult to achieve if you're even somewhat good at sniper. The only thing keeping this weapon from being the best is that explosive headshot kills don't add to the head count, only the one target you're actually shooting. But regardless, it allows for the second most amount of damage of any of the rifles, so I think A tier is
Wow.
warranted.
Yeah, that's cool.
The Cozy Camper easily has the most general application of any of Sniper's secondaries, and its effects are wholly unique to him specifically. The knockback reduction when aiming does help, but its two other upsides are what really make it shine. The first being no flinching when your rifle is fully charged, so between packs when you're able to get that full meter, you won't have to worry about stray bullets fucking with your aim. The much bigger factor, however, is the added health regen. Because of Sniper's high aggro, he'll be taking plenty of residual damage over the course of a wave. And rather than constantly be running to healing sources or spending credits on health on kill, the Cozy Camper comes with added survivability baked in. Other secondaries may be more efficient within their specific niches, but when considering the entirety of the game, the Cozy Camper will consistently be your best choice.
They were seriously pissed off at him.
The Bushwacker can't random crit, and that makes it slightly worse for killing spies.
Yeah.
That's literally the only negative I can say about it, because in every other way, it's a massive upgrade. Mini crits are extremely common in MvM, and the Bushwacker turns that 35% damage bonus into 300%. And considering two of Sniper's top 3 secondaries generate them basically for free, it's not like this is a rare occurrence. But the biggest benefit, as I mentioned with the Carbine, is the ability to transform the Sniper into a very slashy boy. The Bushwacker, in conjunction with the Carbine or a Soldier's Buff banner, especially with max swing speed, is a surprisingly deadly tank shredder and by far his best method of doing so. Sure, it's worse than the stock Kukri at killing spies, but there's no way I can overlook that tank DPS
Huntsman,
and keep it from the top spot.
If you're gonna pick Sniper all the time on
the
MvM.
Hitman's Heatmaker is broken. Just straight up, the Heatmaker is absolutely, without a doubt, Sniper's best weapon. Sure, you do less damage per body shot, but considering the massive damage boost this weapon provides on headshots, that's a small price to pay. The Heatmaker has an ability called Focus, and it's fucking insane. All it takes is a couple of kills, which is very easy to achieve with explosive headshot, and you have a fully charged meter that allows you to continuously fire without having to unscope. Not only does this jack your DPS up the ass, especially on giants, but it makes it way easier to actually land your shots because you don't have to keep adjusting your aim. On top of that, it's not a standard meter depletion like the others. As long as you keep killing shit while using focus, it will continuously recharge itself. This honestly feels like cheating. It's so overpowered to the point where godlike snipers can practically carry entire games with it. To me, it isn't even a question. The Heatmaker is by far one of MvM's most absurdly destructive weapons. And yeah, that's it for the tier list.
Up there with
if you enjoyed this video, I have 7 more just like it, so check those out if you want. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more MvM-related content, as well as the spy tier list when that one eventually drops.
Now I can't remember
Thanks
what
for watching the video, guys.
Soldiers.
See ya.
Soldier's rocket launcher's called. Oh well. Oh well. So yeah, there we go. So that was ranking every sniper weapon in MvM by Wheezy TF2. That was awesome. So I'm gonna start practicing with that one. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I definitely did. Like this video and subscribe, guys. Definitely click on the link to the original down in the description. Get down to Wheezy's. Like the original and sub to him for making a real informative video. That was cool. Excuse me. That was very nicely done. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Tune in every day for new content. Bye-bye.